in the city and county of Denver, that that authority is given by charter to the executive director of safety. So that's me. And that is what we call the executive director of safety delegation of authority. That delegation of authority is the ability to enforce in the city and county of Denver limits, city and county of Denver ordinances and laws in the city and county of Denver. That would include for police officers the ability to arrest, in particularly with use of force. If I were to have granted and do grant delegation of authority to officers that are not Denver police officers, that are not under my authority, and they engage in misconduct, perceived misconduct or something, they would not be under the guidance or the oversight that is out there. That is a problem. That is something that I am not willing to do until they address how they will engage in oversight. That is something I've discussed at length with them. I've discussed with them that they've had to come with a proposal or how that was going to be managed. I talked with the former chief about how that would take place. I would it was a pilot of sort with RTD officers to be able to enforce things like trespass and things like that at Denver Union Station.
Did they have concerns that our police didn't respond quickly enough, and thus
that has been a concern? That has been something that's been voiced. There is one other thing I want to talk about. RTD police do engage with our police department. They hire off-duty police officers that ride with them on specific shifts so they can augment those services, so they can make arrests while working for RTD in an off-duty capacity.
I have a couple of follow-up questions and thoughts. So today they're licensed as security guards, and do they carry a weapon?
No, they are police officers.
Okay.
They're state certified police officers.
Yeah, okay. And they carry weapons today already? Yes. I can't remember.
Yes, okay. They carry weapons, they carry body-worn camera. I believe they carry tasers as well. So they operate just as police officers, just as a state. Okay. It's their ability to file charges and effect arrest pursuant to our ordinances that they do not have here.
Okay, so that's the first question. Second question is, how much property would be considered RTD property versus city property? I sort of wonder about, like, does it count if you're on the bus? Does it count if you're at the bus stop? What if you're 12 feet from the bus? Like, how do you sort of figure out the jurisdictional issues there? Because it seems like RTD probably has a presence in, most of the city.
They operate under our 911 system, right? RTD is not on our 911 system. So that is something that I would, I think at this point, the inclination would be on their property and their conveyances.
Yeah. Okay. That's helpful. And, you chase someone off a bus, how far do you run before, it turns into DPD territory, or, I think there's a lot of sort of weird things about that. Larry reminds us that it is in fact called the Regional Transportation District. And so the folks, obviously span multiple cities.